Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Blockchain for All once more. Thank you for taking out time today again to join us in this wonderful session where we try to educate our viewers and the entire public on the importance of blockchain and its application in our daily lives. Blockchain for is a sponsored program by Bconta, VHIPA, 7100 Print Limited, and Fast Track Wealth Academy. And this is in a move to ensure that experts in the area of blockchain and other fields come up online to educate us how technology is taking over and improving our lives daily. So Blockchain for All has been on for over 2 weeks, and we have had series of experienced um, educators, industry players, where they have been able to come and share light on interesting topics from social media, integrations with blockchain, from skills or jobs that are available for everyone to learn and contribute to the blockchain industry. We have also been able to have Mr. Nidari, a venture capitalist, to explain how we're able to access funds as startup from venture capital and understanding what it takes to build a business and how to grow it up. Also, we'll be able to have Mr. Simon Engolo talk about blockchain, smart contract, how they have been able to help us, and the solutions Big Contact is also utilizing on the blockchain to provide payment services, remittance, settlement cross border. So it has been a whole lot of learning process or learning sessions for us here at the studio, and also for our viewers viewing from several channels from LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So want to ensure everyone that is watching now to kindly share the link to your friends. You might be watching maybe after this live broadcast, but you can also share it to your friends and family to be able to learn from what we'll be talking on today. So today I'll be introducing a wonderful speaker, someone that have had experience in the financial sector for over 6 to 7 years, and he'll be shedding light on because a lot of things have been happening around the financial sector. We have been seeing how venture capitalists have been pumping in money, and it's interesting to have someone that have had experience in this field to also explain how he sees blockchain even providing better service to what the financial sector is doing. So it's going to be an interesting day for us here at Blockchain for All. We'll be learning more about the financial sector and how they are trying to see how to improve, hopefully integrating blockchain in the nearest future. So our speaker will be coming up, and he will do a brief introduction of himself again, and then we'll proceed from there.
Okay, good evening,
Hello, Mr.
everyone.
Raf.
Yeah, good
Welcome,
evening,
Mr.
Mr.
Raf,
Chapter.
to Blockchain for All. So this is Blockchain for All. We are very happy to have you online with us today, and it's really a privilege and honor to have you schedule out your time today. I know how busy you can be, and so a quick one, please. You just introduce yourself. I've done the little I know, but I think maybe there's one or two things I must have not added that our viewers will be interested to know more about you before we continue. So welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really grateful, Mr. Japheth, and the Be Content team for this amazing privilege to, be one of your resource persons for this program, Blockchain for All. So basically, as he has earlier introduced, my name is Tasie Raphael. I'm a relationship manager with a financial institution. I actually do banking. So what I basically do, I tend to create and I also manage new and existing relationship for the bank. That's all there is basically about me presently. And so far so good. Today I'll be talking about blockchain and the revolution in the financial institution. So how blockchain has been able to, revolutionize the financial industry. So, Mr. Japheth, that is all there is for my introduction presently. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah, for that very quick introduction. I know people people that work with money don't really talk too much. So it's lovely to have you once more again. Across our social media handles, we are currently having our viewers logging in. And to actually follow us and watch this event live, please follow Bitcoin HQ on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and also YouTube. You can also follow Jafet Johnson on the same social media handles, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to watch live. Please, for our sponsors today are also giving out $200 to active viewers today. So ensure you make comments, ensure you ask questions to our expert here, so that also our team will be able to get you on board and get your giveaway for this program. So thank you very much, Mr. Raf. To go in quickly, we want you to just share a brief understanding of how the financial sector have been running and what we need to even understand about the financial field entirely. I think that will give us a good horizon to start our program for today.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. So the financial institution basically is a place where financial transactions are actually being carried out. You have financial services, and you also have your financial products, where you have your product offering. And looking at the financial industry today, it's more or less a centralized system where there are loads of regulations that is being carried out in monitoring transaction, carrying out the daily activities and everything. So the financial institution presently is, let me just summarize, it's a place where financial activities are being carried out, most especially financial services. Thank you.
All right, okay, so that's an awesome one. Thank you very much for giving us a good understanding of the financial sector. Um, Today we're looking at beyond Bitcoin, which blockchain has already been one of the core on what Bitcoin is running, and Bitcoin has been trying to work on solutions that has to do with the financial sector. We're looking beyond that, so we're looking at the core technology that empowers the Bitcoin itself. Since looking at the financial sector, um, there are so many improvement that you must have seen that okay, the financial sector need to work on. And how do you see blockchain coming in? Because this is very important to understand. We're not looking at Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and we are looking at efficiency and how this system can actually become better. So how do you see blockchain, and what is your understanding on blockchain all about?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Jaffet. So if I'll just want to give a brief definition on blockchain technology. Now, blockchain technology is a digital collection of financial transaction, or not necessarily financial transaction, I'll just say transactions that are tracked and they are being recorded on a decentralized network. That's the simple definition I'll give on or about blockchain technology. Now, looking at blockchain technology, I think it is one of the leading innovations that the financial industry is presently experiencing right now. You understand? Or rather, let's say is about to experience, because it's focused presently on a decentralized network or a decentralized system, but the financial institution have not yet gotten into that space yet. So for blockchain technology, it holds the promise of tending to reduce frauds and also to create um, efficiency in carrying out transactions. That I'll say, boss. Hello, Mr.
All right.
Jaffet.
Okay, so that's an awesome man. Thank you very much for seeing the real advantage of Bitcoin because blockchain, because it's really important to actually have a good understanding on that. So, looking at advantages that you have seen in blockchain, do you really see an entry, or is there a connection between what the blockchain can do to actually make the banking sector more efficient? Because with that, we'll be able to understand that the technology at its core is important or not.
Okay, if there's one thing I'll say is there are loads of benefits that blockchain technology has actually brought to the world of work, because blockchain technology is all encompassing, not necessarily in the financial institution. It has to do both with the educational sector, telecommunication, agri. It's all encompassing actually. So if there's one thing I'll actually look at is the area of the decentralized finance, which is DeFi. That's a part of the blockchain technology that the area of finance is built upon. But before we first of all understand the decentralized finance, we should be able to understand, first of all, centralized finance. Now, centralized finance is presently where the financial space or the financial institution or financial industry precisely are focused upon, whereby you and I have to deposit our money in the banks and they hold it. And, their major aim is to make money, basically. You understand? And they have loads of third parties like, the InterSwitch, NIPS, where little charges are being made in this area of the centralized system. You understand? So with that on ground, I think um, decentralization is like one of the disruption that has actually come to help this part of the centralized system. Now, looking at decentralized finance, I think what it does is like tending to reduce the transactional costs. It tends to provide efficiency in carrying out transaction. Now, the decentralized finance is built upon the blockchain and it's emerging, it's still growing. It has not really yet been adopted by the financial institution. So it poses loads of opportunities for this sector or the industry, I would say, because it has opportunities for you to carry out your transaction with ease and with efficiency. Now, talking to relating with my audience, if there was one thing I really bought from the idea and the vision of Biconta was the fact that one of their most leading vision was that they were out to solve remittance issue across board, both in Nigeria, Africa, and even what is it called? The world at large. You understand? So looking at all of those benefits, I think they also have it as one of their core to be like a leading fintech company, that is like starting up in the country. So decentralized finance built on blockchain technology is out to solve so many of the limitation I think the centralized system on the financial institution is presently having. So that's one of the ideas I want to drop based on the solution blockchain and decentralization is out to solve.
All right. So thank you very much, Sarah, for very clear explanation on that question. Okay. Looking at the challenges that have been faced by the centralized system, and currently we are just having around 33% of the population of Nigeria that's banked, which means a huge volume of a huge number of the population are yet to be banked. And the few percentage that are currently banked are facing a lot of these challenges, from downtime to a lot of challenges. So this is the first time in the history of man where a technology can be able to actually provide cool solution to define the real values or real qualities of money. Because there are a lot of things we might have learned from economics while in secondary school to understand how money should, like the transaction should be secure, money needs to be divisible, need to be easily handled, managed, and what have you. So, but we are seeing a technology that is giving those real qualities reality in life now. I think I'm getting it. So now there are a lot of hindrances, okay, from adoption to understanding this technology, okay, accepting it, and how it's going to be integrated properly. Okay, what do you think is one of the major challenges that is slowing down adoption of blockchain with the centralized finance? Is there something that needs to be understood? Because there should be a reason why the adoption is a little bit slow, or they are really looking deep to understand something that need to be inserted, or something they can have a little bit of control, or what we need to understand. Because if we're having a technology for the first time in history of mind that can give us security, that can give us speed, that can give us reliability when it has to do with finances, then it's something that everybody is supposed to actually put heads on and rush on to accept. So what are those challenges that the financial system need to look into? Because I know the issue of identity management, KYC, and what have you, also talk about that one. But what are those things? They might be part of it, but you help us shed light on it to understand why this adoption is a little bit slow, and how do we see it going ahead from now?
Okay, thank you so much. Now, looking at it, times have actually changed, and the adoption of fintech, which is financial technology that has, come into the world of work, has, disrupted so many conventional pattern of operations, and it is, posing loads of corporations, loads of organizations to be on their toes to, be able to adopt this system, whereby their service delivery, their product offering has to be top notch in order for them to, stay relevant in their space and also their industry. Now, let me give you a little drawback on how technology has really advanced. Now, looking from the era of 97, when Microsoft actually came into, play with computers and everything, with that adoption, some companies or some organizations didn't believe that Microsoft, you understand, and creating a paperless office will come to stay. You understand? They were fighting that idea crazily. And in the year 2000, when we had the Y2K.com era, at some point we were saying the world is coming to an end, the world is coming to an end. But now, organizations and businesses that didn't really move up with the speed at which business and the change was actually coming, most of them folded up. You understand? I'm trying to drive us with a line of thought so that we'll be able to get the picture of some of the challenges that these things, that the financial institution is kind of going to face with this, disruption that blockchain technology and decentralized finance has actually brought. In as much as this whole, technological advancement, financial technology, and all of these things brings ease and efficiency in the financial institution and even the financial industry, I think it also poses threats. No organization, no business will want a disruption to want to take away, money from their hands. Because looking at it, in as much as it's now decentralized system, it looks for a way to cut out the third party. You understand? Looks for a way to cut out third party interference. It looks for ways to, reduce costs, these transaction fees and all of those things. Now, and looking at this innovation that decentralized finance is bringing on the financial services, these are areas that the financial institution are making money from. So it is a challenge that it's a threat it's posing up on them, whereby they will not have opportunities to make those profits that they are making. In as much as this thing is good, but look at it on the other hand, it's coming to take away money from them. They will not have enough, revenue-based kind of transaction. The amount of the deposits that is being done in the conventional, banking system will be taken away from them. All of those things are like the threats that is coming to sweep out the, daily profits they make and all of these things. I mean, it will be challenging. So now, with what is on ground, I think what the financial institution, should do is getting to really understand how the decentralized system works and get to, wrap up their hand around this space. And when they get to understand it, they should also look for ways to also impute their own charges alongside the innovation that this technology has brought. Because no matter how, we try to fight it, I could remember sometime in 2017, there about 2016, 2017, where the CIBN had a meeting, which is the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria. There was something one of the speakers said. She said it is high time for bankers to wake up and smell the roses, because whether we like it or not, just the way the internet came to stay That is how blockchain technology, the digital currency, and all of these things have actually come to stay. So right now, I think financial institutions are not sleeping. Really, they are not. Even as much as this thing is actually posing threats to them, but they are not actually sleeping. They are on their toes, working around, the whole system to really understand how it works. Even if it's not for them to have 100% control of the system, but they should be able to really have a way to still make profits from it. Thank you so much, Mr. Jaffet.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Raphael, for that wonderful explanation to the question. It has really helped us understand that really the blockchain is out to make the services more efficient, more transparent, and less of much control that money should actually have. You just talked about, I think, one of the issue of decentralization, which is control, trying to manage fraud, trying to manage identity, because those are key things that the banks have tried to work with the CBN over and over again to ensure that a lot of transactions are not fraudulent. And blockchain is trying to make that more open. So I think they have to work more on trying to see how there will be more KYC regulated users for when they are using this blockchain. And at the same time, trying to see how they will to make profit, because it matters a lot. Because one of the challenges I've been listening recently was, oh, how do we make money from it? Because our speaker, one of our speakers was also like Mr.
Sorry,
Sam, was
sorry,
talking about
yeah,
smart
sorry,
contracts.
Mr. Joseph. Sorry to cut you off. One thing I want you to also see is also the part of transparency. You understand? Because
Exactly.
the decentralized system brings transparency to the table, whereby it gives investors and also users control over their funds. You understand? Because, for instance,
Exactly.
if maybe, for instance, now, like you have, your money, you might not necessarily put it in the bank. That's a threat because it's taking away, that volume, based
Ex-
revenue system from them. And now, for instance, you can be able to monitor your own money by yourself without any third party interference,
exactly.
without any
Yes.
control from any regulatory body, without any policy trying to limit you. For instance, now, like on the blockchain technology, by virtue of transparency, you can just do all of your KYC and you have your money that you are seeing in your wallet already, right? But now in the financial institution, if maybe peradventure your KYCs are not complete, like maybe your identification card, your maybe utility bill, all of those things, restriction can actually be placed on your account.
Yes, exactly. I think
But, excuse
that's
me.
where we are
Now,
looking
until
at
you're able to,
the
provide all
technology.
these documentations, now that is when you now have access to your money again.
Exactly, Mr. Raf.
So
I think I get to understand the point here. Now, that's where I feel when the issue of Bitcoin came, that poses that particular threat to them, because it was quite free, it was quite transparent, it's open, but it's taking the qualities of the blockchain itself. You see, I get to understand the point. Blockchain and Bitcoin are quite different things. You understand?
represents, yeah, it's
Bitcoin
just
is just a use case exactly on the blockchain. So if Bitcoin is trying to tell you that okay, you can send out money, it can be transparent, both parties can be able to see what's happening, we can know the exact amount of um, the money in circulation, which is 21 million Bitcoin we have. All those questions about money, Bitcoin tried to actually handle it and takes the quality of that blockchain that makes it transparent, that Bitcoin was never for one day since its creation since 2009 till date. You understand? So it has been able to cover a lot of those challenges that the centralized finance has been facing over the years. So what we're trying to say is we're not telling you as the financial sector to accept Bitcoin now, because even though we know that okay, it's just a matter of time, um, things need to be designed, platform need to be designed, and product need to be designed. But we're talking about taking the qualities of the blockchain. You see, if what the banks are doing, I can go online and say, okay, this is number of transactions, these are the amount of money we have. Now it matters a lot. It matters a lot to us as citizens that use this money. So what I'm trying to say is the bank should even start accepting the blockchain as a technology before even looking at the use cases of cryptocurrency. The bank can decide to say, okay, we're going to deploy our software on the blockchain. That's what I'm trying to actually say here. Can we deploy our software on the blockchain that it's open, it's transparent, because we need to start from the core. If we start from the core, then the bank can say tomorrow, okay, we are going to have our own token, we're going to have our own amount of tokens that you can use for this transaction. We can be able to take our fees from there. We'll have control a little bit from that, because when you're going to do a transaction, instead of you paying social amount for you holding this particular token from the bank, you'll be able to have a discount or what have you. So there's payment designs that are going to come. But we're looking at the blockchain. The bank needs to understand that the core is something that needs to be accepted. Then the design of any other processes can come into place. You understand? Okay, I think Sterling Bank is one bank that I recently have been showing a good light in blockchain because of the, I think they had program that was 2 years back, trying to see how they will push in adoption for blockchain technology, how software companies that are actually working on blockchain can be able to also get from them. So that is a good understanding, because we need people from the bank to understand the difference between the core technology and the use case of a technology. You understand? Use cases of a technology can be used to either harm or help the citizens, but the technology stands to actually prove itself right. So we need investors, we need the banking sector, people like you that understand. We are talking about the technology, not the use case now. And the technology is something that will help the use cases we are using, which has to do with transferring of money, has to do with saving our money. Why should I keep my money in the bank when you are giving me 0.3% a month or less than 3% in a year, while I can go to a decentralized finance, stake my dollars and get 12% per annum? You understand? So those are the things we're trying to see. What are they doing that is actually proving? I understand, Jaraf. It's a lot of questions, and it's pulling out a lot of funds. It's pulling out a lot of funds from circulation by taking them back to the cryptocurrency. So what do you see? That's what I'm trying to say. How do you see the bank coming in soft and giving us faith to believe in? Because inflation is hitting. I don't want to really shout all this out, but you understand where we're going to.
Mr. Jaffet, you are. Thank you so much for that amazing one. See, you are actually speaking to a regulator. You understand, and I really understand the plight of fintech companies and startup. I might not be able to give you all the answers to most of what you're actually bringing on the table, right? But if there's one thing I really want you to understand is this. Now, when it comes to the decentralized finance and blockchain technology, now, like, if there's one thing you need to get is the fact that blockchain technology is not just focused on one sector of business, like maybe for instance the financial sector. No, the truth of the matter is this: blockchain technology is all encompassing, both in the area of telecommunication, transports, and all of those things, right? Now, the truth of the matter is this, Mr. Jaffet, I know you've stirred the table so hard that even right now I'm trying to look for ways to put my hand on what you've actually placed on your table. You understand? I get the plight, but I might not be able to give you so much information on what you're actually talking about right now. Actually,
No, I get the point. I'm just trying to point out the qualities. If to help us have a good understanding, maybe even pushing out this knowledge to them that this is what this stuff is doing. I am from the aspect of the blockchain guy itself. I'm a blockchain developer. I build software on blockchain. So trying to use this medium also to talk with you as a regulator to understand that these are things we are looking at, which you can also go back, look at it, and put it in the design of what you're not really to say persuading you to accept what we are seeing, but talking to the point of these are the advantages you have been able to see over the years and tabling it out now. You'll be able to see, okay, there's possibilities of how this technology can help. In fact, we need to pull off a lot of nonsense cryptocurrencies that are out there, scamming people, stupid projects, investment that are taking out people's money. So I'm just trying to point out we need to accept the technology. The regulators need to understand the technology first. Let's not shy away and leave the technology, then keep hammering on the use
Like
cases.
there was something I actually told you about earlier on, or there was something I actually talked about earlier on, which is now the financial institution, they are not sleeping. You understand? The regulatory bodies
Exactly.
are not
Exactly.
sleeping. You understand? They are actually taking out their time to really understand this system, to really understand
Sure.
how it works. Do you get? Because I mean, it's bringing efficiency in carrying out their day-to-day transactions. You get the gist?
Exactly.
Because I
Exactly.
mean, now looking like I was actually trying to create a line of thoughts, which was the fact that when the Y2K.com era, or the Y2K.com era came in, where Microsoft was out to create a paperless office, organizations were fighting this idea like, this thing, it's not possible, it can't happen. But because they couldn't move at the speed of thought, the organization folded up, right? But organizations
Sure.
that were quick to key into these ideas, they evolved and they were able to, still carry, their day-to-day transactions, and they were able to make so much profit. Do you understand? Now, the truth of the matter is
Exactly.
chain technology, decentralized now blockchain technology basically, because decentralized finance is actually built on the blockchain. You understand? Decentralized finance is built on
Exactly.
the blockchain. Now, the thing is, this efficiency has come to say, because now imagine, for instance, if you're using a centralized system to do a transfer of money, it can take you time, to consummate that transaction. But DeFi has been able to create a system that you can do transaction in seconds and even in minutes. I mean, with the speed at which this, everybody wants efficiency in carrying out transaction, right? Number two,
Exactly.
there's no centralized system around people's money. Do you get? They can be able to, like, okay, fine, now, like, create a wallet where their money is there and they have 100% control of their money. That's two. Decentralized finance creates control, access, and transparency. Do you get? Like, for instance, now there's one thing I want us to get. Now, third party transactions that are there. For instance, if you try to use your debit card to do a transaction, maybe using a merchant's POS. Now, the merchant will, by virtue of you making purchase, the what is it called? The transaction will be transferred to the acquiring bank for the normal debit. Now, the acquiring bank will now still transfer to the third party that will still take their charge. Once the third party approves, it will send back to the acquiring bank. The acquiring bank will say, okay, fine, these ones, they have taken out their charge, we have removed their money. Then they will now still send back the approval again to the merchant, stating that all the necessary debit has actually been done. That is when you now get your approval of receipt. And do you understand? And you can actually give the customer all of this. But now with the DeFi and the blockchain technology, right? There's only one transparent charge you can see. And that transparent charge is, maybe you're trying to do a transfer, they just tell you service fee. Maybe you are paying maybe 0.80 cents, or that's the only charge that you will see. Do you understand? So these transparencies are things that the decentralized system has actually brought to the table. I mean, it is heavy. In as much as it's an opportunity, it's also a threat to the financial institution too. Do you understand? Because now it is going to take away business from them. So the only thing they are trying to do right now is to really understand this system properly. Do you get? And if they are not going to have control of this system, they are going to, create a system whereby they can also make profits from the system too. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, that's awesome,
You understand?
Sarah.
Because
I think yes, you have really
because the
shared
point is,
very good points there. Wonderful one.
okay.
You,
So
you
the,
know,
the, the point. No,
okay, you
go
want to
ahead,
say
please.
something? All right. So
No,
the points I'm making are very clear, and I think coming from your end point, really, there are a lot of things that need to be said in the banking way, just like we were saying. We are not sleeping, we are working on it. I think why I'm just so happy hitting you this question because I'm trying to also believe I'm talking from the mindset of average Nigerian that is trying to see. So, and you have been so wonderful answering those questions. Even though I know more of these questions will still come in from our comment section from our users. You see, okay, we believe the banks were not sleeping, but I think one of the reasons that they're saying they have woken up is by creating the CBDC or like the inner I was trying to look at and trying to mimic part of those qualities of the blockchain. You see, you can't really serve two masters at the same time, right? You can't really say it's decentralized and it's centralized. So there need to be a clear awakening from the banks. You can't do this way and get it the way you want it to be again. So that's one of the reasons I believe every country is trying to say, well, we're trying to work on our CDBC. We are going to be able, the system should be able to be interoperable together. They will be able to work with one another from different countries. I'll be able to send money from Nigeria to Ghana CDBC system, and it's going to be a little cheap. We're trying to say it's going to be transparent. Uh, from what we have learned from the in-era, which I have actually tried to study that, they will mint them, they'll have access on minting the in-era. And that is where the challenge is, because if you have ability to keep controlling the minting process of money, inflation will keep going up and we still face the same thing, just like we are moving from the naira because we are going to cashless economy. So you are trying to work on a system that will give you control to control the digital aspect we are going into. Because okay, like 2 years back, I spoke about financial abstraction that has to do, okay, a lot of us are looking at money now as just ATM cards, transfers and numbers. So if the banks or the regulators are waking up to creating a centralized digital platform again, don't you see us still moving in the same direction of what we are living now?
If there's a point I want you to see is the fact that there are loads of limitations sort of when it comes to innovation in this part of our country, right?
Exactly.
Because one, because I mean JP Morgan Chase, like, you know they are having session on how to incorporate blockchain technology in carrying
Yeah,
out their financial transactions out there, because these
exactly.
guys, they have really understood that, okay, for the blockchain technology, this has come to stay. So right now they are building systems, they are building so many networks around it, so that once, because presently there's not really been like a bill passed that this is how transactions are meant to be done. There has not really been like
Exactly.
an approval system that, okay, this is the way transactions will be done going forward. Do you understand? So but if DeFi comes to stay paraventure, like if it's finally approved that this is the process where transactions are being going as in will be done, the real of the matter is right now, yeah, I think our country will be a little bit, behind. But on the other hand, there are enthusiasts based on in the fintech space. They are creating ideas, they are creating innovation that will be able to support this, blockchain technology and the decentralized system. Now, what I'll just say in essence is the fact that inflation has actually is hitting the country so bad. You understand? Inflation is hitting our currency. But I think with blockchain and the decentralized finance, it has a remedy to that system. It actually
Exactly.
has.
I really agree with you, Mr. Ralph, on that. I think I can't agree less with the aspect of we need to go back to the drawing board, understand how these things work, and try to see how to work with this technology faster. Because if we are really left behind, just like you are saying, it's really going to hurt us because a lot of things that we are actually being hurt from now is because we didn't really take actions earlier enough. You see, if we're having a country with this huge population size and looking at adoption of from the Bitcoin, let's say cryptocurrency, and Nigeria is coming second or third in the world, which means there should be a trigger that should be sent to the government to understand that, okay, there is something we need to improve here, because that's why a lot of people are accepting this. How do we make this better? You see, that's why we brought people from the aspect of investment. Okay, how do you able to preserve your currency, your naira, or the amount of money you are having? And we're trying to channel all that to how the banks have been operating, why people feel more confident about taking out their money and saving them in stronger currency. And you coming from this industry or from the financial sector need to understand that what they are facing as challenge is because of what they are doing. You understand? The solution you are putting out might not be the right solution for consumers. So that's why they might not really be using. So you might be the one creating the problems for yourself because you refuse to actually adopt. You refuse to actually change or try to how to adopt new technologies that will help improve even our, I know anything that things that have to do with the naira is a lot, from how do we do more production, how do we export, managing our economy, how do we manage our reserves, our debt financing, and what have you. Those banker stuff are things that you guys understand, investment people. But it's very important to understand that if the currency keep losing value, then people keep pulling out money from this home-based currency to save in another currency, which is really affecting. So the bank solutions is the problem of the bank. We're looking at interest rate very low for over how many years? So people are awakening to the fact that they need to save more, but they need to save in a currency that does not deflate faster. You understand? So the challenges is not one. We are seeing a lot of adoption of cryptocurrency by Nigerians becoming second and third in the world. So the bank need to understand we need to change, not just to take what we are doing from the fiscal stuff and trying to make it more digitized and still have that control. We are still giving less interest, collecting more interest from loans we are giving out. We are getting cheaper loans from the centralized finances platform. All those stuff. So why we are happy to have you is because we are pushing out our mind, we are pushing out our questions to you, and you are responding, even though we can't really get all the response from you. But it's to show that these are things that are happening outside, and also to be able to interact with people from the other sector to understand that these are the challenges. Some of the challenges our banks are facing is not because they're not really doing good job, but because the services they are providing has been outperformed by others now. Okay. So I believe you also agree with my own point of view. Maybe if I'm wrong, you still say no, okay, no, this is what we're trying to do, and this is what we're trying to do. Every day we keep
No,
devaluing naira. Every year we are devaluing naira.
you're not
And how
you're
do
not
you see us
wrong.
going?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I think one of the limitations, with most of the way transactions are being done is the fact that, like I said, it's a centralized system. You understand? And this the regulators, they want control. You understand? And they might not necessarily give you they might not necessarily give you the rights to really what you want. It's based on what they want. And now what we are talking about is still centered around the same thing. I don't know if I'm making sense. Because
That
the truth of the matter is, let me be very outright with you. Let me be very, very outright with you. Now, the truth is this: the regulatory system understand that this adoption, you know, is more superior to the traditional, way of doing business. But now, looking at it carefully, we are still in our economy, we are still, waking up to some, adoptions, some innovations that are really coming. We are waking up to those realities
exactly.
because we, in our own mind, we are always focused on the area of what do I stand to gain? What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to gain? With all of these innovations that we are talking about, right? It is taking away business from the conventional way that is being run. And the conventional way that is being run is profit oriented for the centralized system. You understand? So if the decentralized finance now come to replace the centralized system of operation, I mean, where will the third parties be? Likes of because one of the benefits that the decentralized system created is the P2P system, which is persons to persons. Now that P2P, it's completely eradicated the third party. So it's just, two individuals come to say, okay, fine, oh, I have this and let's do this exchange. Boom, it has happened. But little charge, like I said earlier on, has come. Do you get? But now with the centralized system, you come, you do a transaction, this charge, that charge, this one, transaction fee, all of those normal, plenty transactions. Now, these are the places money is being generated from. I don't know if I'm making sense. So the
Exactly.
truth of the
Exactly.
matter is, the reason why the adoption seems to be slow is because they are still trying to understand how they can make profits from this system, in as much as, you understand, it brings
Exactly.
efficiency to the people. You understand? But an average businessman, if there is one thing he wants, is speed. It's efficiency. You understand? So in a way, why the banks are not really getting the tractions they used to get before, it is because people are silently moving their funds from the traditional system of operation now to the digital space. Do you understand? Because they have more benefits there in the digital space than in the traditional system of operation. Because I mean, just imagine, for instance, maybe you're keeping your money in the bank. It might not necessarily yield so much for you. Why? Because it is used for transactions. Do you get? But if you're keeping your money in the digital space, it is you and your money, except you choose to use it for maybe a transaction. That is when you can actually watch it leave you, because you are in charge. So
Mhm.
a system that comes to take away the control you have over something that has always benefited you. How do you feel? Do you understand? It wouldn't make
Exactly.
so much sense for you, right?
Exactly.
So the only thing that is on ground is, like I told you, the financial institutions are working back to back, because we are individuals. For instance, I'm talking from the space of end users. We as
Yes.
individuals cannot compete. We cannot compete with them. They are institutions. They have the volumes. Do you understand? They
Yeah.
have they have the volume. So even if we as an ecosystem choose to say, okay, fine, as individual, we are trying to gather funds, we can't outperform them, because with
Exactly.
their with their volume, my brother, they can still have control even in the decentralized finance system. They can still have control in it. You understand?
Yes.
So I think this innovation has actually come to stay. The financial institution, even if they cannot have 100% control, but they are still working their hands around it in order for them to still know how to generate profits from the system.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ralph, for that. You have really done well with our questions today. I don't know if our viewers have questions. If you do have any question, you can kindly type it quickly before we go, before we actually end this live for today, so that Mr. Ralph will also answer them. So thank you very much, Mr. Ralph. Your answers to our questions have been wonderful. Really, we really thank you for actually explaining how you have seen the integration of blockchain coming in to help a transaction faster, um, make them more secure, and also trying to let us know that the banks are not really sleeping on this, so that everybody will still be happy, because research and development is one key area for any company, any startup, any organization to grow. So knowing that the banks are also doing their research on this makes us believe that they saying no now is not really that saying no forever, but having a better way to be able to also protect the country, because
Now,
we strongly
sorry,
believe that
can I say something?
exactly you can.
Now, from the fallout of the last CIBN that was held last year, September, you know, there were loads of, bank MDs that were there and all of those things. Now, there's actually one of the idea is how can the financial institution serve millennials presently? You understand? Without them, because the millennials, how they see the world of work, they see the world of work where with the post-COVID, it has disrupted so many things. People now work remotely. People don't necessarily need to go to a workspace. Do you understand? And there's actually, a digital bank that, has its operation running, but it wasn't having a physical business as at the time. And what really inspired their business then was the fact that, okay, there are some financial institutions outside Nigeria that are operating and functioning properly without a physical space. So now, when that conversation was ongoing, there were some innovative ideas that this guy brought on the table. That now, for instance, traditional pattern of operation whereby the KYC, all of those documentations. I mean, I think him dropping it to the regulators, that all of those things are mundane. How about, for instance, if you are bringing maybe a utility bill that is outdated, because them they ask, okay, how do you do your KYC? Technology has advanced. Blockchain technology has really brought so many advancements, you understand, in the space of work. Like just the way Uber, your Uber app or your Bolt app works, where the GPS, tending to, tell locations of where people are and you can pick. Those GPS too are being used in account opening systems. You understand?
Exactly.
There's actually an online KYC team that still goes out there and still do and conduct KYC on those addresses that's being provided. Because once you provide this address, the map will just identify that, okay, this is the location, and once you click on it, it's pasted there that, okay, this is the location of this person. So they'll still go out there. But if you're doing the normal sit down and provide documentations, I mean, you might not necessarily provide the services that these end users really want. You understand? Because things have actually changed. Things has actually
Exactly.
advanced. Things has actually, so what they want efficiency. So back to the beginning, there are organizations, there are financial institutions presently that are functioning at the speed in which the blockchain technology has actually come. Most of the digital
Exactly.
banks presently, you understand, they are trying to, they are presently outsmarting the traditional banking system. You understand? Because if you watch, there are new banks that is still coming up. You understand? But the idea of those new banks that is being created, they are mostly created on the digital space. You understand? With more of the digital idea and digital disruptions. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Exactly, Mr.
So
Ralph.
it's just a matter of time. I think traditional banking will catch up with that idea. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, so I really agree with you. I think this your last statement really help us understand that really we're seeing new ideas because we're seeing new generation banks now. I
Yes.
think some of them really have branches, so you can resolve everything online from your transaction. You hardly even get downtime from them. So I
Yeah,
really
because
believe that.
if you watch with the last statistics for last year, with most of the fintech companies, most of these digital banks made more profits than all the commercial banks put together.
Exactly,
In the
exactly.
So it is because they are being able to key in with the idea of the decentralized finance. You understand? Whereby
Yes.
beyond transactions can be done with just one approval. Because the traditional banking before from the point of application to the point of execution, there are loads of approvals that will take place. You understand? So all of those things are really, that is why if you watch, most end users, most consumers, most investors are now tilting towards those digital, space where
Yeah,
this are being done with speed and efficiency.
exactly. Okay, I think Mr. Right, you have really helped us on understand. The last question is very important to know that the banks are awakening to this, and like you have said, really we are seeing new generational banks, new mobile money platforms, making payments very easy. giving more limits for you guys to be able to do transactions. You can pay to other countries. We are seeing a lot of applications out there. They are really doing really great. I still feel we just hope that the banks, which we have much trust, because I think we have much trust for the banks, will be able to be flexible enough, because at the end of the day, we don't want these other ideas, other guys coming up again to become a threat, even before even going to the blockchain space and other cryptocurrency. We don't want these other smaller guys bringing the solution to become a threat. So there should be a better way for the banks to also work with them and see how they'll be able to have good regulations and move ahead to see how the financial transactions are done in a better way. So thank you very much, Mr. Raf, for your wonderful explanation. I'm yet to get questions from our viewers, but if we don't have any, we have exhausted our 1 hour for the meeting today. We really want to appreciate you for taking our time to come, and we're very sure you will jump on our call next time to actually take this same topic. It has to be possibly, it might be a little bit deeper now to understand. Maybe by that time you already have 1 or 2 solutions that the bank is using to,
Yeah,
it's
actually,
possible
because
maybe to draw blockchain.
there are some ideas. There are some ideas that you are dropping at the table that is really shaking the table so hard. You understand? I'm
It's true.
actually sitting on that where. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness gracious. Anyways, it's actually an amazing one, really. I hope the next meeting we'll have, possibly I might have maybe 1 or 2 of my banker colleagues that will be able to at least support with the idea. At least to go a long way.
Yes. Yeah, I think it would be nice to have maybe 2 or 3 of you from the bank, and we'll be able to have a live broadcast like this with 2 or 3 people from different banks. If it's going to be possible, we'll try and bring them on board and discuss, because one research team from this bank might be doing something different from the other. Everybody has a different level of what they're trying to work. So we'll really be glad if you're going to have some of your colleagues, 2, 3. I think we'll be able to handle them on the studio channel to be able to have a live discussion with them. So thank you very much for that, Mr. Raf. We really appreciate it. Really, I'm so excited. Our users from 3 channels are watching, and I can see from their comments, people are really getting a lot of insights from what you have said. I personally have really learned a lot. You have given me additional hope to our banking sector. Let me not say I've lost hope in them, but I'm very appreciative knowing that someone is trying to do more R&D to research and
Yeah.
not just keep saying no, because when we keep banning things in the country, then we keep banning potentials that will actually help us turn the country around. But knowing that the banking sector and its people are waking up, doing more of research and hoping, I was so impressed when I heard Nigeria was going to be the first to see BDC in Africa. It shows we're trying to see how we can reiterate these ideas faster. And it's interesting to see new banks, and I hope we keep seeing banks coming up with ideas that will make a lot of our transactions. And the good, I just want us to have the qualities of money exhibited in real life, not something we are just thinking of. Someone behind the scene keep printing money and whatsoever. We don't know. So we want to see the reality of what we studied from economics being played out in real life. So before you go, Mr. Raf, if you have any last shout out and advice to every one of us before we call it a day.
Okay, my shout out goes out to every young people out there, every young guy, every young lady out there that is, you know, making out time to, make themselves better than where they are and where they used to be. If there's one thing I want you to understand is that life is, you know, a season. There are seasons that governs life. So if you are actually in your dry season, just get to understand that it's about to rain. And if you are in your rainy season, always understand that these seasons don't last forever. Always make sure you take out time to, keep so much for yourself that you can actually use to, prepare yourself for your dry seasons, because your rainy season will not last forever. And also know that your dry season too will not last forever. So the season goes round and around. So make sure you take out time to, harness and utilize every opportunity that you're being placed with. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Raf. I want to appreciate every viewer that have been following us throughout Blockchain for All that was set for the past 2 weeks now. We are really happy that you are getting a lot from what we're doing. I usually get calls, I usually get comments, I get messages on Facebook, people appreciating what we're doing. I really want to appreciate our sponsors for taking our time to push this event. I thank everyone that has been supporting all my speakers. You guys are wonderful. They're really wonderful. We have been getting a lot of views, and it shows that really Nigerians are awakening to learning more. But most times you actually have sessions like this, and you have then 2 or 3 people even live. But it shows we are coming up to understand that getting knowledge is the principal thing, and really it will help us liberate ourselves from a lot of challenges. So thank you very much, Mr. Raf, for this wonderful session. I just wish we are not going to ensure that we'll keep hammering ourselves back and forth. But a lot of your answers is something we're going to take back home. We're going to encourage ourselves to know that our banking system is going to get improved within the shortest period of time. The world is moving very fast. So just 9 years or 10 years back, Bitcoin was created, blockchain was moved, and we want to see our banks come up quickly to adopt faster technology, better technologies, not waiting until another 20 years to say we are keep doing research, keep working on research. So we should start implementing what's on ground to see how we can improve along there. So thank you very much for everyone. Do have a wonderful night rest. Join me on Sunday as I come up with another wonderful speaker to the studio and we'll be discussing on interesting topic again. And I hope we'll keep learning and we'll keep growing. So do have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jaffet.